man's shoe exploded on him. Why you keep having this cat? Was your heart not crushed enough when you didn't get him in the draft? Why you keep trying to go after this dude? He might be Eddie Curry. He might be Oliver Miller. All the skill in the world, but eat himself out of the NBA. Throw a thumbs up in the chat if you remember Oliver Miller. That man was like 400 pounds in the NBA, still giving people work on the post. Still hitting three-point shots. Why are you so fixated on Zion Williamson? Well, first and foremost, you should listen to me because I am a Duke fan. I did see the cat play. I remember when the class was super talented with Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, Zion Williamson, and RJ Barrett was the number one done data coming out of high school, supposedly to be the number one pick. I remember the conversation they said they had when Zion was considering coming to Duke. He said he had a conversation with Coach K, and Coach K said, if you come to Duke, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how you guys could play together because I was a coach for USA basketball. If I could figure out how to have Kobe and LeBron play together, I could figure out how to have you, RJ, and Cam Reddish play together. So when you talk about how it would be different if all of a sudden young Thanos snapped his fingers and he found himself in New York, how is it going to be different? He's in New York. It's so many more distractions. Well, first off, he needs a coach similar to the coach he had in college. A coach that's going to be hard driving, a coach that's going to have a level of expectation for him, but a coach that he respects. And he will respect this coach because his best friend or his good friend is on the team, has been drafted to that team, and his good friend respects that coach. He's going to come to a team where everybody in the locker room has respect and veneration for Tom Thibodeau and that style. Everybody's a worker. Say what you will, he was dominant in the college basketball scene because he was in shape. He was still eating like a kid, college kid eating, but he was in tip-top shape because that program made sure he was, and he was happy. Keep in mind, I started this live by talking about the generation being different than my generation and the generation of your parents or your older brother, where you're a little bit self-motivated, where you push through, like it doesn't matter how you feel. Get out of your feelings and just get it done. And you have an ability to self-motivate yourself. This generation is different. This generation needs encouragement, like validation externally. That's why they're always taking selfies. That's why they're doing little dances on TikTok. I just did that shit on YouTube. That's why they're doing it. Because they need the likes. They need to be told you great. So if he comes to New York, he's going to have a coach that's going to stay on him. He's going to have an ability to see all these other players. His best friend is in his ear. Where you at? We working out. Stop disappearing, bro. I know you're going to see Shorty. Come with me. You know Tibbs is going to be paying attention in the gym. I'm going to the gym. Let's go to the gym. Show him you serious. We on the brightest stage right now. You ain't in New Orleans. So when he got drafted, remember draft day? Knicks fans, we were plastered to the screen. And the screen was plastered to us. ESPN broadcasted our pain that day. But they also broadcasted Zion's pain. Look at his face. Look at his face when he didn't get drafted to New York. When they told him that the Pelicans had the number one pick. Look at his face. And then imagine how he felt when his best friend got to the Big Apple. He was disappointed that he went to New Orleans. They put that microphone in his face and was like, how do you feel? You know, you got beignets. You going to New Orleans. And then look at his face and remember his face when they asked him about playing in Madison Square Garden. How his whole frame changed. I'm glad you asked me that question. Nobody really asked me that question. I mean, aside from playing in New Orleans is my favorite place. You got to say that. At least he was aware enough to be able to say that. Zion Williamson in a New York Knicks uniform would be explosive. Once again, we're considering that all of these players are healthy. He would be explosive. If he's healthy, why would they get rid of him? Well, first and foremost, in reality, they don't know if he's being healthy. I think they're ready to move forward from that headache. I think they know that he does not want to be in New Orleans. I think after watching James Harden strategically get himself out of Houston, get himself out of Brooklyn, he ate himself out of Houston. Pause, because we know he'd be in a strip club. But he put on that weight and they moved on from him from Houston quickly. And he was able to go where he wanted to go. I'm telling you, it was on that day that Zion sat with his team and his team was just like, listen, this may take a long time. But if this is what you're trying to do to make it uncomfortable so a situation arises where they're ready to move on from you, let's do it. Hence why players are like, yo, listen, is Zion healthy enough to get back? Zion's doing 360 windmill dunks, but continuing to sit on the sideline. The man has a team. He knows what he's doing. And just like James Harden, when James Harden got traded from Brooklyn to Philly, and Charles Barkley interviewed Kevin Durant, and they was just like, we're not even sure if, James Harden is going to play in the All-Star game. Charles Barkley was like, yeah, he is. He's healthy now because he got traded. I think the same thing is going to be with Zion, especially if he gets traded to New York. And once again, it'll be explosive. Imagine Jalen Brunson having an athlete or a monster like Zion Williamson playing alongside him. His attitude, his mentality. One of the first things that Zion will see changed is his demeanor. I'm sure Tibbs will tell him, you need to punish the league now. The league needs to be punished. They were laughing at you. They were disrespecting you. Don't smile in these cameras. It's been like 4 years. And they sleeping on you. You need to average 33 points a game. Easily. Zion Williamson will put on a New York Knicks uniform. Several things are going to happen. First off, the man got good hands. All I hear, I feel Cameron over here and I feel Mace over here, like pause. The man got good hands as a basketball player. He has the second leap ability. He has a post-up game. He finishes violently through contact. He has a standing vertical. He is a generational talent. He is a generational talent. If you don't know what that means, very few times in a lifetime do you see a player with his combination of skills and ability to come along. He's a franchise changer. If you put Zion Williamson in Madison Square Garden, having made the playoffs alongside Jalen Brunson in a New York Knicks uniform, opponents ain't going to want to come play us. They're not. I was here when Patrick Ewing and those New York Knicks rattled off 23-25 straight home wins. Nobody wanted to come to the Garden. They knew they weren't winning games. That's the level of fear that we need. Once again, we need to dominate. I don't just want to win. I want to dominate. And that's the gamble that you take if you decide to go for a Zion. That's the gamble and the risk that you take. And if it don't work out, it was worth it. It was worth it. When you talk about this accrual of these players and these assets, you do it for a moment like that. And a player like that who meets the same timeline of the whole squad that you have, who's just young enough to be able to look up to a point guard who has already proven that he's a big-time player in big-time games in this league. We talk about everybody eating at Knicks Deli. Zion. Zion would have the challenge of getting himself right. But I think he would be in the environment that he wants. He would have the support that he needs. They're already saying he has no connection with his team in New Orleans. That his relationship with the team and his teammates is professional. It's just a job for him. Just like it feels like it's just a job for Julius. I know he lights up when he talks about the idea of winning in New York. But when you think about just his body language with his team at certain moments, that's the points of frustration that we have. He seems like an outsider that comes in to do his job, and he does his job fairly well, and then he goes home. There's that connection that we sense. It's not that energy, that spirit. You know, New York is all about that. We can sense if you feeling us, if you with us. Carmelo Anthony was from Baltimore. You can't tell me Carmelo Anthony ain't New York. He ain't New York energy. We sensed it from day one. We don't sense it from Julius. I think Zion will come here adopted, and he will punish the league because he'd finally be where he wants to be, who he wants to be with. Now, I think that spotlight is bright. And I think if stuff hits the fan, he's going to learn very quickly. This is the big league. This is Gotham City. You Superman, you Thanos. Well, that's what you need to live up to. You fought to get here. Don't complain now, Julius with hops. Don't complain now, Julius with hops. Don't wild out. Come here and do your job. But if we have an opportunity and we position ourselves and we're successful in getting Zion Williamson to this team, it's going to be hard to deny us. It's going to be New York Knicks fans are going to be unbearable. We circling the block. We spinning the block. Oh, we circling the block and we spinning the block on motherfuckers who doubted us. This is an X-rated show tonight. It's late enough so the kids should be in bed. We're going to be circling the block on them. If we get that healthy young man here. Shout out to Clutch BBTV. B-Ball TV. He was like, he had a thick frame. He's athletic. That pause. Yo, Zion Williamson in a New York Knicks uniform alongside Jalen Brunson would be stupid. Tough, right? You tough, right? All right.